Good morning, and thank you for joining today. Today is going to be the CARE Act Data Collection and Reporting Open Forum. My name is Amanda Turnin. I'm a project manager for Health Management Associates, supporting DHCS in the TTA and data collection and reporting efforts. As a reminder, this open forum is geared towards Cohort 1 and LA counties who have submitted data from last quarter on March 1st, but we also realize that there are many other counties who plan to be joining who are preparing to implement CARE by December 2024. So we welcome your participation, and we hope that the information presented in this open forum can also be helpful to your efforts as you prepare for CARE implementation and data collection.
Wonderful. Hi, welcome everyone. So as Amanda mentioned, Serena Olin, and I'm part of our HMA data team here. As you all may know, HMA supports the CARE Act data collection and reporting, and this includes a number of different activities, including developing and managing the data collection and reporting process, supporting counties in terms of their data collection efforts, development of the annual report that is based on the data that you all have submitted, as well as the data submitted by the Judicial Council. So as you all know, this data will eventually make its way into both an early implementation report as well as an annual report. And so today, our HMA team here, you see Carice Burnett and Charlie, they'll be reporting on some of common data issues that we are seeing post the first submission of the data on March 1st. So they'll be walking us through the agenda. So if you wouldn't mind, Chloe, moving on to this. So the agenda, so what we're going to do today, we're going to review some common data quality issues. We're also going to facilitate a Q&A to promote cross-sharing of strategies that counties are using to support data reporting. As part of this later during the session, we're also going to be sharing a streamlined option of the data file template that counties are using to bulk upload data. And then we will close by pointing you to resources that have been newly organized to support your work on data reporting. So if you have any questions, as Amanda mentioned, as we move through, you are welcome to note them in the chat. We'll track that. We'll come back to those questions at the appropriate time. We do request that you be as specific as possible in your questions so we can track them and respond to you appropriately. So with that, I am actually going to turn it over. Actually, no, not yet. Next slide, please. So actually, before we turn over to Cha, I wanted to run through and provide an update on the first data submission. So this was for data on the CARE Act implementation between October 1st and December 31st. So this is the last quarter of 2023. All data submissions were received by the March 1st deadline. Judicial Council data was received in aggregate with data on number of petitions, hearings, care agreements, and plans and dismissals. We noted that one county did exercise SurveyMonkey as their tool, but the remaining counties used the data file template via the Move It file application, by the Move It file application. And all QA reports for counties have been issued. So County 1, Cohort 1 counties should have gotten all the QA reports and should be looking through them. And hopefully, if you have questions for us later during the session, you're welcome to stay and chat with us. But before we turn it over to talk about common data issues, I wanted to note a few things. First of all, I really wanted to give a shout out to Cohort 1 counties for a successful round of data submission. This was a huge lift, I think larger than most had anticipated. And we want to thank you for your efforts and for working with us to get things in on a timely fashion. I also wanted to call out the fact that improving data quality is a process. And so there are multiple reasons for data issues, especially when a new program such as the CARE Act it's getting off the ground. And so as our pilot counties, we're learning alongside you. As you all know, for those of you, especially who have come to our open office hours, we absolutely welcome your candid feedback on data collection and reporting, and really look forward to working with you and learning alongside with you as we continue our data collection and reporting efforts. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our first presenter, Char, who will walk us through what we're seeing. So over to you, Char.
Okay. As you know, HMA has developed a QA process to support high quality data reporting and summation. An important reminder before we jump to like the QA process, an important reminder is to pay attention to any change in the care in the current care status. So that's going to be data point 3.3.10 current care status. Data during like the care process initiation period, it actually serves as a baseline data and is only submitted once. If there is a change in care status during the same calendar month, additional data point relevant to the new measurement period will be needed to report. This actually apply to like care status change from care process initiation to a care agreement / plan or an elective client. The same also apply to clients who are dismissed during the care process initiation period or terminated from county support and services. For like people who actually being dismissed, right? County must report data from the care process initiation period if the client is dismissed during the reporting month. And for those who are terminated, county also must report data from the active service period during the month of termination. So that will be a very important reminder for county when they submit the data back to DHCS. Next. Now we're gonna jump into the CART dimension. For quality assurance or QA, we follow the CART dimension that has been used by DHCS for the managed care plan. These are industry standard QA. For HMA, on HMA side, we are looking for completeness, accuracy, reasonability, and timeliness for the submitted data. It doesn't matter if you submit through SurveyMonkey or you use MoveIt file transfer application. We're gonna be looking at the same thing. We want to call out to a huge accomplishment by cohort 1 and LA counties. We have like 100% timely submission. Yeah, so we want to call that out. Next. Under data completion, what we look for is that we look for missing, and we also look for surplus of the data. The table on the right, we took it directly from the QA report. Yeah, and when we look at data from Q4 of 2023, there are missing value for some of the data point. And as you can see on the table, there is no issue for duplication or surplus of data, but there is issue for missing data. So that actually turned red. And it showed that that item for missing data actually failed. Yeah. And when we look at like the total, like the whole data set, we have a total of 259 missing value. And when we look at those like missing value, the most common data point where this is an issue, accounting for all care statuses. So basically, the most common one gonna be employment status. We have about 38% of the missing value actually contribute to 3.4.10 employment status. Next, gonna be volunteers supported present, 20%. Type of housing support, 20% to 21. SUD treatment and care agreement or plan not provided, 2 to 3%. And then specialized program, next gonna be like about 1 to 2%. Yeah. And I want to go back to 3.4.10 employment status. We have like 38 to like 39%. for many county, the value is missing for this data point because they enter the numeric value code in the wrong column. So that's why it end up missing when we are doing the QA check. Another data point we want to look at going to be like 3.11.4 volunteer supported present. That's like 20 to 21%. And when we look into it manually, the value is missing for this data point because county actually think that it associate with 3.11.1 volunteer supporter. Yeah, so when they select null for 3.11.1, they think that they can just leave 3.11.4 blank. Yeah, so that is the issue. Next. Unknown data. In the care data, we allow the option unknown. Yeah. And then when we look at like the data set as a whole, for unknown value across all 3 months, for all the county, we have 3,241 unknown value. And then when we look at like that total number, the common amount is 0 data point. So when we look at it, so first going to be like law enforcement. We have like 6% contribute to like law enforcement. Second, going to be type of housing support. We have about 5 to 6%. Disability, 5%. Number of jail day, 4 to 5%. Number of arrests, 4 to 5. Detention, 4%. LPS, conservatorship, we have about like 4 to 5%. Yeah. And now like I want to ask like counties and also those who are in here, what strategy are county using to remediate the unknown data? Unable to answer data. So we also look at the value code 99904 across all 3 months for all the county. We have about like the total unable to answer value 167. And then we look at those 167 value, all of them actually contribute to like only 2 data point. First one going to be ED visit, 80%. And then the second one going to be inpatient hospitalization, 20%. Yeah. Some county may not like have like data due to like lag on claims data. There may be some other issue as well. And as of now, we are working with the county like basically to get more detail on the unknown / unable to answer data point. Next, we also like basically we look for accuracy and or validity. So for like all the data submission file, we check for accuracy, and then for Q4 of 2023, many of the issue actually coming from the validity check. So it is item 3 under accuracy. So many actually coming from that, and that actually for that part we check to see if like the value code actually are correct and are not out of range. If you just enter a random like value in there, then that one gonna turn red. Yeah, so we check to see if everything actually adhere to like the value code. And when we look at it, the total inaccurate value, it is actually 149. And when we look at those 149, 60% actually coming from 3.4.10 employment status. And when we look at that, the main issue is that county using the wrong column to like report the numeric value code. Yeah, so they're actually using the wrong column. County select the column, used it to specify other to report the value code when we expect to see a text there to explain the value code 99903. Yeah, so county put the code there. They should report the numeric value code in column AU, and when column AU is having the code 9903, then they're gonna use column AV to like basically specify what they mean by other. Yeah, so that is the issue for 3.4.10. Next gonna be housing status. So we have about 6%. And for housing status, the main issue is that they using the code 9903, but then when we look at the specification, what they specify for other, the client actually housed it or in a institutional facility. Yeah. So we actually we want the county to like use the corresponding value code for that instead of using other. Yeah. Third one gonna be reason for SUD in care agreement or care plan not provided. Next gonna be 3.5.20 reason for social service and support not provided. The main reason for these two is that county are not using the numeric value code. They just go direct and use the text response. Yeah. So they are using the text response instead of using the value code provided in the data dictionary. So that is the issue. Law enforcement, we have about 2%, and it is very similar to 3.5.12 and 3.5.20. Yeah. We want the numeric value code if we say that we indicate that in the data dictionary. Yeah, if you put like a text on it, then it's gonna turn red automatically. Yeah. Next, reasonableness. Under reasonableness, we check if individual data are valid and the data set, as we taking it as a whole, we want to look at the data set as a whole and see if it is plausible. Many of the issues are coming from the reasonableness of date. Yeah, so that one you can see it is turned red right now. Like the issue actually coming from item 2. And when we look at it, this issue is very common for 3.3.7 petition date file, and then 3.3.8 date of investigation. So when you look at like the care process, right? When a client have a petition submitted, and then the court will order the investigation. So that means that the date of investigation cannot be earlier than the date of petition file. Yeah. And from the data, we have some cases where the date of investigation was in October 2023, but then the petition was not filed until December 2023. So if you look at that, then technically it's gonna like the code gonna basically generate a statement saying that those 2 dates doesn't make sense. So it's gonna result in a fail. Yeah. So that there are some of the case. Next. So now like I'm gonna basically do a demo of the QA report. I'm gonna show you like how it's supposed to look like, and I'm not gonna show you like when there is an issue, where can you find the detail for that specific issue. Yeah. So I'm gonna do a quick demo of the QA report. So I'm gonna do a screen share. Right. Just to confirm, are we able to see the Excel file? I think okay, we can, right? Every quarter there are 3 reporting months. County will be submitting 3 data file, and HMA is responsible for generate the QA report. So that means each county gonna get 3 QA report for each reporting month. When you receive the QA report from HMA, we're gonna indicate for which reporting month. We're also gonna tell you when we submit it, and we're also gonna put your county name. If you open a specific QA report for a specific reporting month, if the data is good, right? If the data is good, the overall status you're gonna be able to locate on the summary. If it say accepted, that means that the data you submit for that reporting month is actually good to go, and you don't need to do anything else. But if there are issues, all right, the status is gonna turn to corrections needed. Yeah. When you open your report on the summary tab, if you see corrections needed, that means that there are issues that you need to address for that specific month. Yeah. History log, this one, basically, if we make any update to like the QA, we're gonna put it here. But as of now, like we haven't done anything yet, so this tab shouldn't have like have any important information. And then on the QA, right? So over here, you see that it is fail QA checklist. It is gonna tell you exactly which card dimension it failed. Yeah. So completeness, we know that we have missing data. It failed on missing data. Accuracy, we know that we fail on validity check. We know we fail on cross validation. We fail on like summary count record. And we also fail on like reasonableness of date, right? So it tell you like which card dimension it failed. On the carrier report, we have tab A to tab G. Tab A to tab G gonna point you like to the direct issue at the individual level. It's gonna show you like which data point has issue, and then from that data point, it's gonna tell you which client actually have issue with that data point. And then when you go to the client level, you also gonna have the detail about why it is an issue. Yeah. So right here, right, we have like we know like which card dimension it fell. Then when we go to like the detail tab A to tab G, right here you only see tab A, B, and D because we don't have client in the other care status. We as of now we only have client in the initiation phase who are dismissed and also who are in the care agreement. Yeah. So when you look at the people who are in the care process initiation, right, on the left, you see that all right, which data point actually fell, right? So you see that all right, 3.7 it fell, 3.8 it also fell, and then yeah, so it's gonna list you like all the data point that fell, and then on the right, it's gonna tell you right where it is coming from. Yeah. I deleted the client detail here because it's supposed to be de-identified. But when you receive your county QA report, it's going to tell you exactly which client. And for each client, if you scroll to like the right, column N going to tell you exactly which data point. And column M, I put the value there so you know which value has been reported. And column P going to tell you the issue, like what we are checking for and why it fell. Yep. And HMA, we also double check to see if the QA code actually generating the right issue. Yeah, so we also double check, and we put our comment right here. So when we check on like the first one and the second one, so technically those two are an issue because yeah, the date doesn't make sense. Yeah, so date of investigation it is what October 2023, and then petition is not filed until December. Yeah. And right here, right, column P, gonna tell you that, all right, this one is related to reasonableness. So right here, like, we're looking for that, all right, if you report a value, it's supposed to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, then it's gonna turn on. Yeah. So all right here, gonna go back to like reasonableness right here. And that is the reason why this one failed. Yeah. And as you go down, right, you're gonna see like more data point, and then we're gonna tell you like, all right, this one housing employment status, it failed on completion because when you indicate other, you're supposed to specify it. Yeah. So technically, if it is not specified, then it's gonna come out here. Technically, yeah. The same for people who are dismissed, and this one is very special. As you can see, right, you don't see any issue with the data point, but then you have an issue being generated here. So this one gonna be coming from the summary count. And for this specific case, if you on the summary tab of the data, if you report the wrong number, then technically it's gonna generate the issue here. And for this case, I think this specific county, they reported the number in the wrong cell. Yeah, they reported the number of client who are dismissed in the wrong cell. So that's why this comment actually being generated. Yeah. So this one gonna fall under accuracy because we check against the summary data that you reported back to us. Yeah. And when you go to active care agreement, very, very similar on the left, it's gonna tell you which data point is failed. And then on the right, it's going to tell you exactly where it is coming from and from which data point. Yeah. So that will be the QA report. When you get it, you know exactly where the issue is coming from, and you can just go and fix that and re-upload your data. Yeah. And now I'm going to pass it back to Serene.
Okay, thanks so much, Cha. I know we are actually running over, so in the interest of time, I do want to make sure that Carice can walk folks through the new streamlined data file that counties can exercise to upload bulk data. So they have, so we have one option that was aligned completely to SurveyMonkey. Based on feedback that we have gotten, we now are offering a second option, which is a streamlined option. And so I'm going to actually have Carice walk folks through that so that they can become familiar with the second option of the file data template. So Carice, can I turn it over to you?
Yes, thank you, Serene. So we will talk about the data format and the procedures for submitting and resubmitting the data. We also have that streamlined template that Serene was just talking about. This update was implemented in response to the valuable feedback we received from the counties. Next slide, please. Here, we just wanted, before we dive into the demo, we just wanted to show you again the data collection flowchart. We found that this is very helpful to have on hand while you're filling out the data template. So today we are going to run through a quick run through of the Move It file transfer application, where to find option A and B, data file templates, and then we'll run through how to fill those out. All the links you're seeing here on the sheet are available at the Resource Center that will be shared during the closing and next steps presented by Amanda in our next section. I almost said next slide, but that would be me sharing my screen. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing. One moment, my computer is thinking really hard about it. Okay. Just to confirm, everybody can see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. So here, real fast, go back. This is what the file transfer application looks like. When you click on that, it will open up this page. On the left-hand side, you see folders. Within folders, you'll see the DHCS CARE Act. When you click on this, what I see is much different than what you will see. You should be able to see your county that you represent and a resources folder, which is right here. Within the resources folder, we have our option A, which is the data file template that you all are familiar with. And then we have our option B, which is the more streamlined version that we created. So when you download, that option B is right here, and then it'll be ready for download. I have it over here, ready to share. So here we see option the welcome sheet on option B. We also have the CARE data elements and data dictionary. These two sheets are newly implemented, and they are also included in option A. Due to the valuable feedback that we received, we found that it's really helpful to have these CARE data elements and the data dictionary within one workbook so that you're not having to switch back and forth in multiple files. Here we have the data dictionary. So really this was just a transposed version of the Word document thrown into an Excel table. It includes each data value, the data description, all broken out for you to easily see and use, whether that be mapping or internal purposes. But we're hoping that this is very helpful for you. Next, we have the history log. Then we have the summary data. So thank you all for filling this out. It's very important that we have everybody fill out the summary data sheet as we use it for validation on the back end to double check our numbers. And then finally, we have our care data template. This is set up so in the previous version, we had each sheet that indicated the care status. Now we have each care status within one sheet. So there's about 114 columns. Their columns are, now they work so that if you have multiple select, you can input that data point and separate it by commas. So here you'll still input your reporting month. And when we navigate to I believe column L, here is a multi-select. So if there are multiple race, you can input 1 through, we'll just say 5 here. That's how you would indicate if they're have multiple races. Here in column AB is your current care status. We've included drop down so that you can easily select the care status that you want to input. Here I'm going to show you the care process initiation. I have columns hidden just for easier movability as I'm showing you guys this. I don't want to make everybody motion sick by scrolling through a bunch of columns. But when you select care process initiation, columns B, W through B will highlight blue, and that's a necessary data field. When you get to column CT, again, I've hidden columns here. This indicates the volunteer supporter. If you indicate a yes there or a 1, it will highlight the following columns to turn orange, and that indicates the necessary data fields. We hope that the streamlined version is a lot easier for you to follow along and input that data manually if you're choosing to do this manually. I think I covered everything here. I just want to pass it off to Amanda, I believe, to close us out.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the overview. And as we mentioned, we are able to stay after the 30-minute mark or 15 more minutes, and we do have some additional specific questions, but we wanted to show you on the next slide that we do have, as Serene mentioned, we have consolidated where to find all of these resources. So on the careact.org Resource Center, if you click on the resource library and then click on data collection and reporting resources, all of the resources that we discussed today are available for you. I will point out that the templates that Carice shared, we did put those templates on the website. However, if you are your authorized Move It user for your county, we always suggest that you pull those sheets from the resources folder on the Move It platform to always ensure you have the correct version. But we received a lot of requests for those who were not going to be the actual authorized Move It transfer file application user, but wanted to see the templates in order to help inform some data process flows, EHR changes, discussions with their vendor, etc. So the also on this page is where you can request Move It file transfer application access. We also provide assistance on who to contact for any of those Move It passwords or Move It access issues. And all of our previous trainings, and this is especially important for those who are joining us who have not yet implemented CARE Act, we do suggest that your identified data team members watch the previously recorded trainings, part 1 through 3. We do walk through the data dictionary. There is a demo on the mechanisms for data submission and the SurveyMonkey demonstration, as well as the data file submission and quality assurance process overview. And next slide. We also just wanted to highlight, this is the link that we mentioned a little bit ago. We did extend office hours, so we were holding them weekly while the cohort 1 and LA counties were preparing to submit their data. We have switched those to twice a month, and we will resume those office hours on April 17th. You can just drop in, stay the whole time, ask a question, and get off, whatever is best for your county, but it will always be staffed by members of the HMA data team to help address any questions you have. And that could be preparing for implementation questions as well, in addition to the continued support of those counties who have already implemented. We have heard of some counties potentially wanting to implement early, either through collaboration with their courts. So we do want to flag that if you are planning to implement early or in discussions to implement early, we ask that you fill out the request form and select early implementation to allow our data team to meet with your data team, just to make sure that the access that's needed for the data file transfers there, to go over any training questions, preparedness questions, etc. For the counties who have already implemented, the next submission date for data, which will be for January, February, and March of 2024 data, will be on May 30th. And so we do still have more time, Serene, so I'll pass it back to you to switch over to the Q&A.
Sure. Thanks so much, Amanda. We just wanted to make sure that folks got information on the new resource, as we work to consolidate all the information so that it's easier for folks to find, particularly for counties who plan to be implementing in this coming year. It's a consolidated place where you can go through what we have put out in terms of data reporting requirements. This is actually in the FAQs already, but I wanted to just call people's attention to it. So just so folks are aware, as the HMA data team is getting information or getting queries from counties about data, when a question seems to be common, we tend to put them into FAQs that are on the resources page. So you should be checking those regularly in case there's information that may be helpful to you. So one example is around, I know we're all trying to work on improving or being able to complete data around data points that are either unknown at the current time or that the client is unable to answer for a variety of different reasons. And so because we had anticipated these challenges in reporting, we had included the unknown option or the unable to answer option for numerous data points. However, we also wanted to emphasize the importance of demographic and basic client information because they're key to disparity reduction efforts. Right, so for all of us, so it was actually encouraging to hear, Susanna, you using this data to feed it back to your frontline folks, right? So part of what we're doing here is also trying to address disparities in access. And so, we did in the FAQ walk through how you, once you get this updated information, how you might want to try to update or refresh information or correct them as you move along. We know that these clients can be very challenging to engage by nature of their illness. And so as your frontline staff is getting more information, learning about data reporting, data collection, and what have you, we wanted to make sure that you're aware of opportunities to either update or refresh your data as you move along. And so in the FAQ and on the slides you see here, we do talk about demographic information. So this slide is around demographic information. So for example, if, like immigration status is a common one where we've gotten, I think, a fair number of unknown at the time of your submission. So when you, submit it the next time around, feel free to, update information as you become aware of them. There's no need to go back to fix prior ones. What Char and Carice will do on our end is to pull the most recent information into the data set. However, if there is something that's incorrect and you want to fix it because because it was a data entry error or what have you, feel free to reach back out to us. And then if you go to the next slide, just real quick, Chloe, if you don't mind. So the other piece I wanted to highlight also is services and supports. We know that some counties are relying on claims to complete information. We want to ensure that counties are getting credit for services and supports that they're providing. And also this helps understand the impact of the services and supports that clients are receiving. So if you are relying on claims and there are delays, we recommend that you do create a refreshed or updated data file and resubmit that. So, and if you have issues with that or have questions, please feel free to reach out. And then for the last bucket of data, Claire, if you don't mind moving to the last one, the last bucket of data has to do with outcomes. So so in terms of outcomes data, as you all know, part of the CARE Act model is really to try to improve ultimately outcomes for these highly vulnerable clients. And so we really want you to be paying attention to some of these outcome data that are listed, or at least all of these outcome data that is being listed here. So if these data points were unknown or incorrectly reported at some point or other, please prioritize these data points as you are updating or correcting them, because this will help optimize our ability to conduct an accurate assessment of the CARE Act model. So just wanted to call these out. They are in the FAQs that are listed on our resource page. And again, feel free to reach out if you run into issues or have questions about these. So with that, I know we have about 2 or 3 minutes left. Any questions before we close out for the day? Susanna, I think I saw you pop on, but I can't tell if you're muted in case you're trying to speak.
No, thank you.
I know we have some cohort 2 counties listening into. Any questions from you all? If not, as Amanda mentioned, we are going to continue to hold open office hours starting on April 17th. And, as the name suggests, it's open office hours. Folks are feel free to come in. We've had folks come in to sit and listen and learn. Others who have come in with very specific questions. So we welcome your attendance as and when you're able. So we hope you exercise that option. So I think, if there are no more questions, we can close out. And thank you, everyone, for taking the time to join us today. And you know how to reach us. All right. Thanks, everyone.